Hey everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got a product from iDeaPlay. This is their V402 active noise canceling Bluetooth headphones. You can check them out on Amazon at the time of this review for $89, and I'll have that link in the description below where you guys can check that out. Are these worth your purchase? We're going to dig into them now, and I'll be right back. Let's take a few seconds to look at some of the specs on here. A music playback is up to 30 hours. If you enable your ANC, or the active noise canceling, you get up to 20 hours on one charge. It takes about 2 hours to fully charge these headphones. Your wireless is Bluetooth 4.2, and it is up to 33 feet. Frequency response is fairly standard at 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Rated power is 40 milliwatts. And your microphone does have CVC 6.0 on it, so you do have noise cancellation on the microphone for phone calls as well. Now these include 50 millimeter drivers instead of 40 millimeter drivers, which is mostly what we see on standard. So I'll explain how that transfers over to music playback. Okay, so this is what you get once you get everything out of the box. And first I'm going to touch on how do they sound. They have a 50 millimeter driver in them versus a 40 millimeter driver, and that is awesome. It adds more bass to your listening pleasure, so that's a good thing. I'm glad they went with 50 millimeter drivers on here instead of 40. You get that extra bass bump in there for people that really like bass. Helps on watching movies and things like that with great soundtracks and stuff like that. So going through the user guide here, we're not going to touch on that too much. It's a fold out. If you want to, you can check it out on your own or go to iDeaUSA.com and they will have it for download there. You can also go to iDeaUSA.com/register to get your 1-year warranty on these, so you are covered for a year, and they do have support at the same website. I'll have a link to them in the description below. Now they give you 2 cables here, and the cables, one of them is going to be for your aux jack, which is a 3.5 standard. So they give you a 3.5 to 3.5 aux cable for hooking up a device that may or may not have Bluetooth, or if you run out of power on this headset, you can always use them as wired headphones. You just can't use the ANC when they don't have any power. You have a USB to micro USB standard cable here, and I like that it's standardized. This one's about a foot, a little over a foot long. If you need to have a longer one for your charging needs, you can always use any micro USB cable that you like. That's the beauty of them not going with a proprietary charging cable. So let's take a look at the build quality on these. Now the first thing to note on these is these are mostly all plastic, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I don't want mostly plastic. Well, you know what, it actually has some pluses to it. Being all plastic keeps the weight down and allows you to wear the headset more comfortably for a lot longer. That being said, I will check into certain areas where I like to see reinforced with metal to make sure that they did that for the longevity of the headphones. Now the pads they have here, you also have an L and an R for the left and the right, are memory foam, and they work really, really well, and they're over the ear style, so they're going to block out noise even without the ANC a little bit more than your on the ear style will. Again, plastic on the outside here. Don't get turned off by that too much. Like I said, it does cut down on the weight and allows you to use these for a longer period of time. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the buttons and charging ports. On the left-hand side, you're going to have an LED and a micro USB input for your charging, and that will let you know whether you're charging or not. On the right-hand side, you're going to have your ANC switch. Again, you can get up to 20 hours of playback time with ANC enabled, and up to 30 hours of playback time without ANC enabled. You do have a microphone built in here with CVC 6.0, so it does have noise cancellation on the microphone, a 3.5 millimeter aux cable input, and of course your power button with your volume rocker next to it, which is also a long press, will let you do forward track and reverse track. Some nice padding at the top here, but let's take a look at the breakpoint where you pull these down to adjust for your head size. I always like to see if they reinforce these, and iDeaPlay has with metal reinforced these. This is a serious breakpoint on headphones, so I always like to check that. These also fold up to make them easier to take with you or throw in a backpack. So overall, I like design. The all plastic design may turn people off, but again, there are some pluses to that I've already mentioned. Now, pairing these up is super simple. All you have to do is hold down the power button for about 3 to 5 seconds until you get a blinking blue and red light. So now you know you're in pairing mode. They will auto connect to any device that you've already paired them to. So some pretty simple process here. If we take our Android phone, which is what we're going to use here now, and I'm using a Note 9, doesn't really matter what you're going to use as long as it supports Bluetooth 4.2 or above, you're good to go. Go into Bluetooth, and if you look at available devices, it should come up in the list as the iDeaPlay V402, which it does. So we're just going to tap on it to connect, and it pairs up pretty quickly. So as you can see, the pairing process to get this started is super simple, no problems whatsoever. It says it's connected for call and media audio. So that's the next thing that I want to touch on. What I want to touch on is call quality with the microphone with CVC 6.0. Did a great job in phone calls. I didn't have any problems with people hearing me, and of course I didn't have any problems hearing them. I like the fact that the 50 millimeter drivers on this definitely give you more of a bass boost. The fact that you have a very long battery life on this at up to 30 hours of playback without the ANC, and the ANC enabled 20 hours of playback with only 2 hours of charge time. Now the ANC works really, really well on this. It blocks out a lot of background noise like computer fans and other background noise that you may want to block out in a work environment or while you're out and about. So they did an overall great job with this particular headset, in my opinion. Okay, so that's my review of the iDeaPlay V402 active noise canceling headphones. You can pick them up on Amazon again for about $89 at the time of this review. Now, as far as cons go, the only con I can think of that anybody will be really upset with is the fact that they have an all plastic construction. For me, it was actually a plus because the lighter weight of the headphones allowed me to wear them comfortably for a longer period of time. So there's a trade-off there depending on you, whether you like plastic design or metal design. That is something that you're going to have to decide on your own. As far as pluses go, it has a 50 millimeter drivers in it, which make the sound a lot more rich, more bass, very good for movie watching and of course for music listening. The built-in microphone has CVC 6.0, and I had no problems with phone calls. 2 hours of charge will get you up to 20 hours of playback with ANC enabled and 30 hours of total playback with ANC disabled. And even if you run out of battery power, you can still hook up a aux cable to listen to music. So overall, I'm pretty happy with iDeaPlay's version of their active noise canceling headphones, and definitely am giving this a thumbs up. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you have any questions or comments about this particular device, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Remember to like, and if you guys have not subscribed yet, please do so because that always helps me out, and I'll check you guys out on the next video.